As the AI world is on fire, everyone has been asking one question. Who is Mira Murati? So, in this super high budget presentation, we'll answer just that. My name is David Ondrej and this is my presentation. So, right now, she's one of the most powerful people in the world. After Sam Altman was fired, she became the interim CEO of OpenAI. And OpenAI is one of the fastest growing companies in the world with $90 billion valuation and also the best AI models out there. So the entire world is watching. But okay, we know that, right? We do, like in the unless you've been living under the rock, Mira Murati, like everyone has been talking about her in the last 24 hours. But most people before that have never even heard her name. So who is she? What role did she play in OpenAI's success? And how did she become so powerful so quickly? Answers to all of these are coming. Basic stats. She was born in December of 1988, which makes her just 34 years old. Quite young to be such a powerful CEO. Origin is Albania, and there is some controversy about this, which is quite funny. So we'll get to that. But Albania is obviously a small European country with a really badass flag. I would say one of the best flags out of any country. And in total, it's less than 3 million people. Early life. So at some point in her childhood, her family moved from Albania to Canada. And I couldn't find when exactly, but it was before she was 16, because at 16 she was already going to a high school in British Columbia, in Vancouver, I think. Moving to the US. So after graduating high school in Canada, she obviously moved to America, which is, the better country, obviously. I mean, nobody, I think if you gave like all Canadians the option to move to the US, I think like most of them would take it right away. But anyway, so her goal was to get a master's degree in computer science at Dartmouth College. Next, career beginnings. She started as an intern at Goldman Sachs, so she was aiming really high since day one because, Goldman has really tough culture and there is no place for underperformance at these companies. Then she worked at Zodiac Aerospace from 2012 to 2013. But then she joined Tesla, where she spent 3 years as a senior product manager of Model X. Then she joined Leap Motion, which is, some design company, I think, as the vice president of the product and engineering division. While working at Tesla, she became interested in AI, and this is a key, turning point in her life, obviously. So that was in 2013, and in 10 years, she went from someone who's casually interested in AI to the CEO of the biggest AI company in the world. Not bad. So joining OpenAI. In 2018, she joined the company. Back then, OpenAI had just 52 employees. So that's kind of crazy because today OpenAI has over 600, which might drop to 500, maybe even 400 after Sam announces his new company. But that's not what this video is about. So initially, she served as the vice president of AI and partnerships. While working at OpenAI, she was part of some really successful products, obviously. ChatGPT, DALL-E, and Codex, which is the basis of GitHub Copilot. And she was just overseeing the company's research, product, and safety teams, really grinding away because she was speedrunning the corporate ladder. In 2020, she was promoted, that's just 2 years after joining the company, promoted to senior vice president of research, product, and partnerships. And this should say 2022. In 2022, she was promoted again, but this time to CTO, Chief Technology Officer, taking over Greg Brockman, who was the previous CTO, and he then became the president of OpenAI. Unfortunately, Mira Murati is pro-regulation. She's known for her advocating of the regulation of open source and AI in general, arguing that governments should play a greater role in this area. Yeah, really unfortunate. So To put it simply, in other words, she wants to centralize and close down AI as much as possible in hopes of making it more safe. So like the argument is basically AI is dangerous, let us control it, right? I mean, if you want to know why I'm so against centralized control and closed source, I included this link. I'll include a link to this speech by Bill Gurley. It's honestly the best speech about the dangers of regulatory capture you'll ever hear, I think. So 2851 miles is the name of the speech, link in the description. Next up, Mira's definition of AGI. This matters a lot. Now, on first glance, it's like, who cares about her definition of AGI? But first of all, there have been speculations that the entire thing with Sam and Greg are because AGI has been achieved internally. Now, those are just, big speculations. Obviously, it's unlikely that this is true. But what is true is that in the Microsoft deals, AGI plays a huge role. So after AGI is achieved, Microsoft stops having access to the model weights and all the technology that OpenAI produces. So, and also what's interesting is that it's not like some clear definition. It's actually the OpenAI board that decides when AGI has been achieved. So for Microsoft, this is huge. This could have consequences in billions, maybe even tens of billions of dollars, depending on when, the board decides that OpenAI has been achieved. So let's hear Mira's definition of AGI. Wait, I have to mute my mix, sorry. But hey, Chris Luno has some of the best mixes. So, just a friendly tip. So let's hear it.
I will say it's a system that can generalize across many domains that, would be equivalent to human work. They would produce a lot of productivity and economic value. But we're talking about one system that can...
Okay, that's enough. So yeah, basically, something that can produce the work of the average person. Now, what's more interesting is when she will think, like her timeline of AGI, right? What is her prediction in terms of when we will get AGI? And by the way, side note, this interview is amazing, right? Like, it has been 4 weeks ago, and it's literally Mira and Sam in the same interview. That's like very fresh, very recent. And since then, a ton has changed. So analyzing this interview, I think, is like super interesting. So let's look at the next clip.
Here, and how will we know it's here?
From here, from here.
Well, either one of you. I mean, you can both predict how long, and we'll call you in 10 years and we'll tell you you're wrong.
Less than that.
I mean, probably in the next decade, but I would say it's a bit tricky.
Okay, yeah, she thinks AGI is coming in the next decade. So less than 2033. I mean, she might have meant, even in the 2020s, which would align with actually Ray Kurzweil's prediction of 2029, which also aligns with Elon Musk's prediction of 2029, 2028, which also aligns with Greg Brockman's prediction of 2029 as well. And I think, Sam also said that it's less than 10 years. So it's interesting, so many people agreeing on like this 2029, 2030 year. GPT-5. So this is another very interesting clip where she gets asked about GPT-5.
GPT-5 going?
We're not there yet, but it's kind of need to know basis. I'll let you know.
That's such a diplomatic answer. I'm gonna make Mira do all of these.
Okay.
I would have just said, oh yeah, here's what's happening. That's great.
Yeah,
I'll leave it there.
Now pay close attention to what Sam said here.
Let's make Mira do all of these.
To know basis. I'll let you know.
That's such a diplomatic answer. I'm gonna make Mira do all of these.
Okay.
So this is kind of crazy because he jokingly said, I'm gonna let Mira do all of these now. And obviously he had no idea that less than a month later, she really would be doing all of these and he would be doing none of these. Now, this is very interesting. Mira Murati deleted her LinkedIn profile. So number one, that's obviously good. LinkedIn sucks. But if you just think about it, it's probably due to the amount of messages she was getting, because she went from someone who's like kind of under the radar to the person that the entire world talks about, basically. And given that she was part of the coup, she knew about it sooner than Sam and Greg, you can imagine that a lot of these messages might not be the most positive. But still, I think, deleting your LinkedIn is quite a drastic move for someone in such a high position. So, I don't know. What's kind of concerning is the radio silence from Mira and, the other people involved. Because as of right now, she has been completely silent about the whole Sam Altman, Greg Brockman thing. And this is a bit weird because, it's the weekend and, she isn't the founder, so, she isn't used to working on the weekend and all of that. But, we've already heard from both Sam and Greg, but, all the other people who are involved in this hostile takeover are completely silent. Nothing from Ilya, nothing from the board. We've gotten the official article, but after that, complete radio silence. Now, this is a fun one. No, she is not Indian. So I don't know why this, even began, but a lot of people apparently thought that Mira Murati is Indian, So, gentle reminder, Mira Murati is not Indian, nor of Indian origin. And then a lot of Indians were actually upset that she is Albanian and not Indian. So, being upset that someone is from a different country than you is crazy. So, I don't know what's going on here. Now, she knew about the coup, as I said. She was the first one who knew, basically, the entire OpenAI management team, if we ignore Ilya and the board, right? Obviously Ilya knew because he was the one who staged it, and then he got the board on his side. But the entire management team of OpenAI, Sam, Greg, and others, didn't know. And Mira was the first one outside of the board that knew about, what was going to take place. Well, Sam found out in a 15-minute Google Meet meeting, which is kind of crazy, Just at least give the man more respect than a 15-minute meeting after he spent 8 years building the company. I don't know. And, I think Greg actually got even shorter call because he wasn't even on that call. And I think later they gave him a 4-minute Google Meet. Again, I think it's if anything, just be more respectful. So let's look at some interesting quotes from Mira Murati. First of all, she thinks we're far from the point of having a safe, reliable, and aligned AI system. Now, if you, combine that with the previous clip, we can, piece these together, because she thinks that AI is coming within the next decade. So let's say 6-7 years at the most. But she thinks that we're far from the point of having a safe, reliable, and aligned AI systems, which puts her into the group of people who worry about safety more than anything, and they will overregulate it, they will ban it, they will close source, ban open source and all that in the name of safety. So again, this would justify crazy decisions such as removing Sam and Greg, the two co-founders, if you really believe that everything has to be closed down and centralized in the name of AI safety. Next quote: artificial intelligence can be misused, or it can be used by bad actors. Yes, true. So then there are questions about how you govern this technology globally. Again, this is when I hear this, it's immediate red flag, because why you, right? This is always the question of basically any regime. It's always any regime any revolution followed by a regime is okay, why should you have the power and not the previous ones, right? So okay, if AI is dangerous, then why should we trust you with it? Come on. So you can take something like open source where everybody has access, everybody can contribute, everybody can see what's inside and, help out to make it more safe. And then you take something like this where people want to make it more regulated, more centralized, more governed and, only get access to a few, like a select few people. It's kind of crazy, man. Next quote. As with other revolutions that we've gone through, there will be new jobs and some jobs will be lost, like the one of Sam Altman. Next quote. Concept of AI agents isn't new. So AI agents is something that's obviously super hot with the whole, GPTs. Obviously GPTs aren't agents technically, but they're the first step towards autonomous agents. Depends how you interpret it, but she said that ChatGPT was her child. So she doesn't have any, human kids. And I guess that's what happens when you don't have kids. You start forming emotional attachments with software. I mean, obviously, you can say that something is your child metaphorically when you've put a lot of effort into it and stuff like that. But it's interesting rhetoric from, people working on AI that is going to become superhuman and might actually become a new kind of species. So, fun fact, she is a mechanical engineer by training, and she built a hybrid race car, not this one, this is just an image I found, when she was an undergrad at Dartmouth College. So yeah, if you want the latest update about this entire Sam Altman situation, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be covering everything and I have a feeling that this is just the beginning.